All right, that's not it. I'm trying to get into a particular website, and I forgot the code, secret code to one of our intelligence websites. What is that code, Mark, by the
Hold on,
way?
let me see. It's pound sign, ampersand, capital I am password.
Charlie, I am Charlie. Well, that's not working. None of that's working. Nobody's listening, so come on, man. Just tell me the
Actually,
password.
a few people have been listening lately, Tom.
That really?
Really?
Yeah, believe it or not.
That's good. No, we know it. A lot of people are, oh, I got to do this stupid thing. This is such a high-tech website that after you put in all the stuff, you actually have to, they take a picture of somebody's address of their home. And right now people are looking at my fingers and reading my lips and saying, I'm going to break into that website. And the name of our show today, folks, Tom Trento here. Nope, can't do it. I lost what it is. The Enemies of the State. We are the United West on WSBR Radio. 8 minutes after, no, it isn't, because we played with a minute. So what is it going to be?
It was seven.
Six? Seven?
Yeah,
One less. It's going to be one less.
One less.
All right. So, wait a minute. 14, 15, 16, 17, 8. 7 minutes. See when the clock's not set right? 7 minutes after the hour on the 13th of this month of January. And today we've gone through a little bit of rain down here in South Florida for all of you visiting. We love the rain. It keeps the alligators happy. And we're going to have another hot day. But we have breaking news we want to get to right away because, as you can see behind me, we have the cover. We have the cover. We are breaking the cover of Charlie Hebdo, which comes out on the streets tomorrow, Wednesday the 14th. We're breaking the cover. This is the cover. We're going to show you a little bit more about it, of the magazine. We're going to ask news agencies whether or not they're going to show this cover as we are showing the cover. There is indeed the full cover. Mark, what does you got engaged in Paris? You've been to Paris many times. Your wife lived there, went to school there. Can you translate that français on the top of that page, please, Mark?
Yes, it says Charlie Hebdo, journalism irresponsible journalism. That's their banner title header. Now, underneath it says a picture of what appears to be Mohammed. There's no
good chance it's Mohammed,
but they've said it's Mohammed.
I killed them.
Just that alone, just that picture is enough to inflame Muslims. Just the picture, let alone whatever the caption.
Picture's nothing. It's just a cartoon of
And please,
Right.
what does it say below Charlie Hebdo and above?
Well, I'm getting there, but just that image alone
He's
is
drawing a vivid picture for our listeners.
okay. Now, the Mohammed caricature is he's holding a sign saying, "I am Charlie," or "Je suis Charlie" in French.
That makes no sense.
And above his, which is quite funny. If they just left that alone, that would be really funny. But up above it, they have tout est pardon, which means all is pardoned or all is forgiven.
What does that mean? We
I don't know.
But we're going to find out what it means in this show because we can answer any question ever given to us. The big question is, what was the motivating factor behind the jihadis, one of whom pledged allegiance to Al-Qaeda, one of the brothers, two of the brothers actually, and then the other individual who shot up the kosher Jewish Deli pledged allegiance to the Islamic State. All three of these jihadis who now are dead and in hell. Surprise, surprise, Muslims. If you kill innocent people and a person isn't theologically guilty before God because he draws a picture, you got to understand that. So if you kill an innocent human being, you go to hell forever. These people are in Islamic hell forever with their skin burning off. It's the exact opposite of what your great imams and ayatollahs are teaching you. But they have to teach you that to control you to do these asinine events. But there are other asinine events that take place. One, in fact, took place yesterday on a television program. A friend of ours, Bill Maher, a friend, not in
Bill
a...
Maher.
No, this is on the Jon Stewart
Oh, Jon
show,
Stewart.
The
it
Daily
was.
Show.
Oh,
Jon Stewart.
On the Daily Show, okay.
And he's far from a friend
He's
of
far
ours.
from
He's
a
far
friend
from
of
a
ours.
friend,
Bill Maher at
yeah.
least takes a stand on Islamic jihad.
He might be wrong on everything else, but he's got that one right.
He's got that one right. Jon Stewart had a substantial and significant guest on yesterday. And the guest provided the exact motivation for the jihadis to go and slaughter cartoonists. And here it is.
Why do you think, I view this extremism as a function, as sort of a text. This idea that it's a religious backing seems a pretext for just powerlessness. They're angry, nihilistic. It doesn't seem, if it didn't have a religious part to it, it would be something else. They would use some other pretext to be violent in this way. Is that...
Well, one of the origins for it is the Palestinian problem, and this aggravates people who are affiliated anyway with the Arab people who live.
Oh, what did he just say?
Wait, let it play, and then we're going to dissect it a
Because this
little
is Jimmy Carter
Yeah,
speaking.
we're going to let it play.
This is
let
Jimmy
the people,
Carter speaking.
I don't want to interrupt. I want to let it play, and
All right,
then
well, I'll back it up here.
we'll have a little mystique for the audience.
We'll back it up.
And then we'll deconstruct.
violent in this way? Is that...
Well, one of the origins for it is the Palestinian problem, and this aggravates people who are affiliated anyway with the Arab people who live in the West Bank and Gaza. What they're doing now, what's being done to them.
Right.
But I think that's part of it. But I think this is a new evolutionary development in terrorism, where people go into Syria, they get trained there, they have a passport from France, from Great Britain, or from the United States.
Right.
They stay there for a few months and learn how to be a terrorist, and then they come back through Turkey, and they've been there, and you know who they are. And I think this event in Paris is going to waken up the people in charge of security to watch those people more closer than they have in the past, and not single out all of the Muslims
Right.
in the country.
No, and it's hard.
Okay.
It seems
That's
like...
good enough for that. All right, 2 points out of that, and who is that individual? We'll tell you a little bit later in the show, so hang with us. But he did make 2 points. He said that the reason the 3 jihadis, and there's a cell now of at least 10 people, the French intelligence sources have determined, and the wife of the Jew hater killer is somewhere on the lam. But this individual, this significant and substantial guest, former president of the United States of America, he said there are 2 reasons why they went in, killed Charlie Hebdo's staff, and then went in and killed 4 Jews shopping on a Parisian day in a kosher deli, killed them and wanted to kill a bunch more. 1, because of the Palestinian problem, and 2, because what the Jews are doing to the Palestinians is now what Muslims are doing to the Jews. It's payback for what the Jews are doing. So, former president laid that out as the rationale and reason for these attacks. We'll look into that in a little bit. But, how you guys doing?
Fantastic, until my blood pressure tripled after seeing that moron say that idiotic.
Well, don't say his name. We're going to have a guessing contest. What president of the United States would say that the Jews are the cause of the attacks in France? He's a living president. And how many presidents are alive right now? Who are they?
We got
Clinton, Carter, and
2 Bushes.
We got
Two
Bill
Bushes.
Clinton is still alive. We have the 2 Bushes. The Papa, is he still alive? Papa
Yes.
Bush?
Yeah.
He's still kicking around. We have George Bush alive and well on planet Earth. Wait, we got Obama, but yeah, he's still alive, I guess. He's running around.
Brain dead, but still
Yeah,
alive.
brain dead alive.
And Jimmy Carter's certainly brain
Brain
dead.
dead.
Jimmy Carter, he's still alive?
That was
What?
him.
This is a
The-
trick. I'm tricking the
Yeah,
audience.
he is brain dead, but still alive. He should just be an
All
organ
right,
donor at this point.
So, audience, you listening out there at 15 minutes after 4 o'clock on the East Coast, who do you think out of the 2 George Bushes, and hopefully there'll be another Bush president, and we're going to have 3 Bushes, and it could be a dynasty.
hopefully. What are you talking about? Hopefully.
That's a sarcastic.
Okay, I just want to make sure that we're
Sarcastic.
clear on that. Yeah.
Sarcastic. We love Jeb Bush, but this is not his
No,
time.
we don't.
No, I like the guy. I like the guy.
what a pathetic field of potential
Well, that's
Republican
true.
nominees.
That's true. But
thus
we got
far.
the 2 Bushes are alive. Obama's alive. we have Clinton, and we have Jimmy Carter. Which of those 5 said that the catalyst for the jihadi attack in France last week was the Jews? Which one?
Well, I could actually see
A couple.
a couple of them
Yeah.
easily. Third one, Clinton's been kind of like I don't think he's smart enough not to say that. Obama, yeah, he said
Obama could definitely say that.
definitely he said
He'll be
66.
saying it soon.
He said 67 borders, especially since he did not show up in the France protests. And I can definitely see him saying it. But, I mean, like, if you were just a betting man and just who said this and never heard a voice,
Where would you put your vote?
I'd go all in on Carter.
On Carter?
Yeah.
What about George the First? Was he a big Israel
He'd
supporter?
never say that.
Okay. So we got out of those 5, the 2 Bushes, Clinton, Carter, and Obama. We have 2 possibilities. You be the judge, the audience. A little later in the show, we will play it again. We'll let you listen to his voice, and we'll take a little deeper look at who is blaming the Jews for the Parisian attacks. Now, another interesting point, and after I address this, I'd like to do a quick follow-up on CENTCOM. United States Central Command, Tampa, Florida, MacDill Air Force Base, where CENTCOM is based. Indeed, we're gonna the name of our show today. We have a script here, folks, that we put up, and we put a name on it every day. The name we have here is Muslims Attack and Hack While Americans Crack and Snack. Okay, you get that?
Say that again.
Muslims attack and hack while Americans crack and snack.
Is it like crack cocaine? They crack?
No, crack fear. They're falling apart.
Well,
They're either afraid of what's going on and just cracking, or they're snacking. They're just oblivious to what's going
the
on.
double entendre of crack like that kind of works
Yeah, you
too.
can do the crack thing too. America's on crack.
Because that's the left out there. They're doing crack or something. I have no idea. And snacking also.
Well, that's true. We have another issue that's of quite interest, and it is the fact that one of the guys on Fox News on The Five, pretty good show. If you watch it, you get opinion.
Great
and
show.
different views. Yeah, it's very good. They copy our 3 here.
Right.
And the 4 when CJ was with us. And by the way, for all of you who wonder where's CJ, she's alive and well, doing great. It was her birthday the other day, so we all wish
Happy
her
birthday,
happy birthday.
CJ.
Yes.
Oh, happy birthday. 39
And
again?
39. She's
39
39. She's working with, doing a lot of volunteer work, working with the synagogue, all of that.
She's a good little Jew.
Yes. We will have her back up here at some point for some, special
With
shows.
lunch.
She's going to bring us all lunch. She's supposed to, but we're in the process.
Yeah, where's our
of
lunch at, CJ?
Moving to our new studio. We're moving out of our old studio into our new studio. Things are a little hectic. The world's exploding. We're preparing for Israel. We got a tremendous group of people. I came back from a weekend trip. We have about another 8 or 10 people. Looks like about 30 people now. We're going to 40 max. So if you, and we need by tomorrow, by the 14th, you got to let me know if you guys want to come. And you have to put a $500 deposit down. It's $3,000 to come on the trip, plus your airfares right now anywhere from $1,000 to $1,200. That's amazing to fly to Israel for that. So for $4,000, $4,500, you will have an amazing, life-changing 10 days. This is not a tour of Israel, though we will see the holy sites, all of that. You can't miss them. Wherever you go, there's a holy site. Hey, look at that. Moses walked over there.
Can't trip.
Hey, Jesus resurrected from there. Hey, Abraham's buried there. Hey, Muslims are blowing something
This
up over
is
there.
the mosque
Hey,
that Muhammad took the horse.
yes, Mohammed.
The sky horse.
Yeah, he took his sky horse, which is a new ride in Jerusalem. The Mohammed sky horse on the Mount of Temple Mount. What is this thing? Where'd this come from?
That is from CPAC last year.
Yeah.
You may have to zoom in on this.
I could do that.
Oh, we have a new guy on the Zoom controls, don't we?
Zoom camera.
All right, I keep this here, and some of you may ask, Muslims may go, oh, Tom, Abdullah, what do the Muslims think when I have this on my desk?
I think that you should not be touching such a sacred. Sacred
Don't pray over it.
Okay, a halt like that. How
Don't
about
pray.
And I can tell you that if you dare go there when you go in March, there will be people waiting for you.
Look, this is comedy. We're doing magic here, okay? Obama, upside down, is
What?
upholding.
Actually,
Obama's
teetering.
policies are upside down.
But they're upholding, like, could he balance the Temple Mount on his head? Yes,
Yes,
he
he
can, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
Whoa, don't hit my iPad there. It's a brand new one.
And it's teetering, just ready to fall.
The Muslims are going, hit the iPad, blow his iPad up. Hey guys, it's a piece of plastic, okay? It's a piece of plastic. This is a piece of foam rubber, all right? Get a life.
That is like
Look,
saying the Muhammad cartoons are just a tune.
go to Saudi Arabia, all my Muslim friends there, and go build a friggin' snowman, will you please? You have that story?
The what?
Fox News, Mark.
What? I didn't
Mark's
hear
the doing Damon's job, and not very well at it.
Hey, I never claimed to do that. I
never used a computer.
A man's
Damon
got to
can-
use his limitations. The man's
I
got to
only
use
work for
limitations.
Cisco.
Damon can read my mind when I'm looking for stuff,
Okay.
and Mark can read my mind when the machines are going over here. But they're changing off because if we have a man down, both of them have to know.
Yeah.
know
Well, what were you asking again, Tom?
On Fox News, there's
Yeah.
a story about snow in Saudi Arabia right now. And I did a phenomenal segue from the little bit of comedy routine we're doing with these things to the, there it is right there on the screen.
All right, I'll take a break. I'll do Tom's job. I'll just sit back and
Go
ask.
sit next to Tom.
And I'll go sit next to Tom.
Sit on his lap.
There you go.
Damon, who was flying the plane, went back to the galley, made me lunch, and delivered it here before Mark got out of the co-pilot seat. That's what just happened. But let's put that story back up because I didn't know it snows in Saudi Arabia, but they got obviously have mountains there. It snowed, and would somebody please read that headline so I can take a drink of water?
Saudi cleric declares snowmen as being anti-Islamic.
And
Of course they do.
He goes through this story. Let me. I think I have it right here. It is really absolutely fascinating. Well, read through it, and we'll comment on it.
Okay. A prominent Saudi Arabian cleric has caused a stir by declaring the building of snowmen as anti-Islamic. After a snowstorm hit northern Saudi Arabia this week, a religious website asked Sheikh Mohammed Salah al-Munajid if it was acceptable for fathers to build snowmen for their children, Reuters reports.
All right, stop. All right, here's what we have, folks. It snows there. There's a religious website, something like ours, the United West, where they ask us national security questions and we answer them. This is much more serious. This is, can I build my son a snowman with the snow? What does that indicate about the mindset of people locked in the death grip of the Sharia? What does that indicate?
Nothing good. It indicates that they're a very repressed society that is 100% determined by the insane interpretations of Sharia law by whatever cleric happens to have jurisdiction at the time.
It is incompatible, folks, for a system, and in this case it's Islam. It certainly has a religious component to it, no doubt about that, but it's a comprehensive system that necessitates, unlike Christianity, complete supremacist control of the globe. Christianity simply says share your faith with other people if they're interested in salvation through Jesus Christ, which we believe is the truth. Through Jesus Christ, they accept it. If they're not, they don't accept it. The consequences are left up between them and God as to what happens at that point. Christianity lays it out, but it's a person's personal decision. Christianity does not have a mandate, and when some misunderstood the doctrine of Christianity and implemented a mandate of governmental control, it violated the principles of Christianity. Conversely, in the Sharia, there is a mandate for supremacist global control of all people. In fact, this is what Vice President General al-Sisi referenced last week at Al-Azhar when he raised the question before the clerics at Al-Azhar, Sunni clerics, does our faith require 1.7 billion of us, he inflated that a little bit, to kill 7 billion others in order to implement our belief system? What sense does that make? He raised that question. This question right now in Saudi Arabia, where we had a little snowstorm, and a father can't even go outside to build a snowman without getting theological clearance, shows the absolute incoherence of Islamic doctrine. What happened next? What was the answer?
Okay, and the article continues. Sheikh Munajid, quoting Muslim scholars, argues that the building of snowmen creates an image of human beings, an action viewed as sinful under Saudi Arabia's interpretation of Sunni Islam.
Stop. What do we have behind me right now?
You have a cartoon of Muhammad, Tom.
Okay, is that an image of a human?
It's an image of a demented false prophet. I could tell you that.
Well, it's not even drawn in a demented fashion. If you can pull out, let the people see it at 26 minutes after. It's a cartoonish look.
It's a caricature.
It's a caricature. But the mere fact that a human has been drawn violates the Sharia. That's part of this whole complexity of supremacist and incoherent religion. All right, what happens next? So here's what we have, folks. We're looking at the incompatibility of Islam to integrate in any successful fashion if you bring over the Sharia into Western civilization. And the point of this spear of illustrating that cultural and geopolitical issue is Paris last week.
Right.
Because the gunmen could not live following the Sharia with cartoonists down the street drawing caricatures of their religious leaders.
Well, we actually have
Let me just finish this
Wait,
real
wait,
quick.
what are you
There's
gonna
only
say,
a couple more sentences
All right, go
left
ahead.
in the article. And then
Well,
we'll
actually, I have a video for it.
Let's finish this, then we'll roll that. Good.
Okay.
This is the Saudi. This is a news report.
Right.
This is not Charlie Hebdo comedy. This is a news report on Fox, all stations right now. Go ahead.
The decree drew mixed responses on Twitter, where users were posting in Arabic and identifying themselves with Arab names. Quote, they are afraid for their faith of everything. Sick minds, one user wrote. It, building snowmen, is imitating the infidels. It promotes lustiness and eroticism. Another user wrote.
Lustiness and eroticism.
Oh, yeah. I mean, doesn't a snowman turn you on?
Yeah.
May God preserve the scholars, for they enjoy sharp vision and recognize matters that even Satan does not think about.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Right.
Oh, it's got an accompanying video.
We're gonna kind of-
Well, let's see what you got. What do you got that accompanies the snowman story?
And here's the pictures of the actual snow in the area with the camels that they're. Go ahead.
Oh, this is it. This is the actual footage.
Yep, this is the actual footage of the snowman footage with the guys, and you're going to see it come up here. This is what they're all complaining about. This is the actual footage here, and they say
I'm surprised that's not a Toyota.
Yep.
I'm surprised not a Ferrari or a Rolls.
And this is the big, huge snowstorm in Saudi Arabia, just like a little dusting of snow over there. So it's like a once freak event.
This is Mail Online. We're showing
Yep.
the video of this freak snowstorm.
Yeah, look at it. It's kind of crazy. That is a kind of a freak snowstorm out there. But anyway, not only banning the snowman, Tom, they also have bans on kites and on other crazy things like that in that same type of context, where when you the banning on kites, for example, is that it's going to draw people's attention to unwanted, sexual activity.
Pakistan
yeah.
has that big kite event every year, and I think it was terrorized this last year.
Yeah, it was terrorized. I mean, they're very serious if they put out a fatwa against kites.
I'll
So
tell-
they got a fatwa against kites. They got a fatwa against snowmen. They got a fatwa against everything.
I'll tell-
Fatwa against cartoons. I mean, what insane culture thinks this way?
The culture of Islam. I did a story. Can I pump my show real quick, T?
Yes. We got to tell everybody.
Hello,
about
ladies
it.
and gentlemen. This is Damon Rosen. I do a show on Sunday nights on Blog Talk Radio. If you go to blogtalkradio.com and check out the Radio Jihad Network, Radio Jihad Network on Blog Talk Radio. In fact, this Thursday, Gady Edelman's going to have none other than Anjem Chowdhury on this Thursday. So go to blogtalkradio.com and then punch in Radio Jihad Network. But I did a story on
Let's put that up on our website so people can link to it.
I did a story a couple weeks ago on a Sharia-compliant doll. It was a Muslim woman that lives in Britain. And according to Sharia law, you can't have dolls in a room at night because there are eyes on the sleeping person. And so what she did is, after consulting with numerous clerics, she came up with a faceless doll that is now Sharia compliant. And if you saw a picture of it, I'll try and grab it by the end of the show. If you see it, it is a faceless doll that is now Sharia compliant. And I think the comment I had is, it might be Sharia compliant and good for Muslim kids, but it'll absolutely scare the crap out of everyone else.
All right, now here's what we're illustrating philosophically.
Well, here's the actual pictures of the camel cow, the camel snowman, and the camel.
Oh, they actually have. Yeah, let's see this. Hey, it's 32 minutes after some. Oh my word!
Oh, that elevates my lustiness to
Now
see a
I
snow
can see
camel.
the lusty part of it.
Okay, now here's the camel snowman. I mean the camels. Yeah, camel snow. I mean camel.
Oh, this is pretty
Snowman.
creative stuff.
This is actually pretty good.
Hey, folks, you got to go to theunitedwest.org.
Now
Yeah.
they're hanging actually the snowman because he's gay.
What are they doing there?
They're hanging him because he's gay.
They're hanging a real person, aren't they?
No, they're just underneath a tree. It just looks like they're hanging him.
Oh, it looked like they were hanging a person.
Well, they do hang people.
It's
for
31
being gay.
minutes after the hour. The hour is 4 o'clock here on the East Coast. 13 January. Tom Trento, enemies of the state. Mark and Damon with me. Others here.
I like the camel snowman.
We're taking a look at the events of last week in Paris and the implications of that, and we're looking at the fact that there's a light dusting of snow in Saudi Arabia. A couple of people made some pretty cool looking. That's why you got to go to theunitedwest.org and watch the show. You're listening if you're in the car or on a radio somewhere. You're listening to WSBR Radio, 740 AM on your dial. That's AM stands for what?
Amplitude modulated.
Amplitude modulated. So AM 740 amplitude modulated on your dial. And go there and look at what we're showing you. We're showing you snowmen that are pretty creative that the Muslims made in Saudi Arabia, a camel, a guy. But the question was raised, can we do this as Muslims? And the answer is no, simply because it's putting on you're creating an image of a human, which you can't do. Only Allah can know what a human is, and therefore it is wrong. And the writer in that Fox story said something to the effect, this is Saudi Arabia's version of Islam. There's a little caveat in that article that struck me when I read it. And I go, well, isn't Saudi Arabia the depository of the two holy cities? Isn't it the Mecca of Mecca? Aren't they the guardians of the faith? Ought they not get the faith right? Now, when we confront our Muslim Brotherhood friends like Hassan Shibli over at CARE, we haven't talked about CARE much lately. We need to.
I know. We got to start bashing those terrorists.
We have to bash them ideologically so that we avoid confrontations in the future, like in Paris. Nobody ever wants to ever get in a situation like that. So Islam needs to be, the Muslim Brotherhood needs to be defeated in the United States intellectually, morally, legally, and truth be told, you may be seeing a new publication out in the near future, like maybe the end of this week or the beginning of next week, which was written specifically to help America now fight the supposed so-called war on terror. What we're doing today is taking a look at some of these various inconsistencies. And I have a little drawing right here I just put together. If you can come in on here, Mr. Pilot Damon. I have a background in philosophy, theology, all of that stuff. Historically, the theologians and the philosophers have always tried to understand this thing. Everyone's desires to know the what.
For those who can't see, it says truth.
Truth.
Yeah.
Everybody that's sane wants to know what is true. You want to live the true or valid life. For the most part, that's what people want until they become demented. And this little Venn diagram, this little dotted Venn diagram, shows that this system, this philosophical system, I haven't named it, captures quite a bit of what is true. And it's very difficult to have 100% of all truth. You'd have to be omnipotent and omniscient. But this system, like Allah, this system captures quite a bit of it. And this system over here is so far away from the truth that there's a complete disconnect.
No intersection.
To the extent that a philosophical system, and Islam, folks, at its base is a philosophical theological system. To the extent that the philosophical system is disconnected from essentially what is true, we're not defining truth yet, but just get the concept. If you have a system disconnected from the truth and it's trying to lead mankind, which direction is mankind going to go?
Down the pooper.
Welcome to Saudi Arabia and building snowmen. Conversely, if you have a system that encapsulates some of what's true, particularly the essential elements, it's more in line with reality.
So
now,
you can have a society that only appeases the insane as Muslims.
yeah, it's just a piece. So, drawing a dividing line down here, Western civilization built upon some of the logical principles of the Greeks, some of the legislative principles of the Romans, some of the theological and philosophical principles of Jews holding monotheistically the law, and some of the principles of the New Testament, Jesus Christ, through the doctrine of grace and salvation and personal production and all of this. When you take these elements and comprise a belief system known as Western civilization, and then you have to interact with this guy completely disconnected from the truth, you have what's called a clash of what? Civilizations. That's what we have here.
Doesn't one have to have a clash of civilizations? Don't you need two civilized societies?
Well, Samuel Huntington, in his great book, A Clash of Civilizations, is very gracious in calling Islam a civilization, and he defines it not so much in the civility of the individuals, but just the organized consistency and coherence. The fact that they have rule books, the fact that they have social institutions, legal institutions, theological institutions. They have become a civilization. They leave buildings behind and architecture and all of this stuff. So in any event, I just read a Stratford update on, Stratford's a wonderful intelligence site, update on the European problem, and simply stated that 39 minutes after 4 o'clock here in WSBR, Enemies of the State.
Where's the time go?
He said that the writer at Stratford said that basically concluded, I don't know what the answer is, but we are friggin' screwed, because Europe is now recapturing their nationalistic and unique heritage of thousands of years.
You remember one?
And they realized the deal they did with the devil of Islam after World War II, inviting Muslims in to come and rebuild blown up Europe in an exchange for oil, building mosques, and allowing unlimited population, has now come back to devastate the interior and the fundamental elements of Western civilization, particularly Germany. What happened in Germany today? What did we look at just before we came in here?
Padiga, the anti-Islamist group, the grassroots anti-Islamist movement in Germany.
There's no equivocating with the news people saying this group is anti-Islam. They're against the Islamization of Germany. They're in Dresden, 25,000 of them today.
Yeah.
This is the situation we have. Can Islam coexist with Western civilization? No! Who says no?
Us.
The theologians of Islam. Qutb says no. Hassan al-Banna says no. Ayman al-Zawahiri says no. Joseph Qaradari, the brilliant leaders, say, hey, Islam is Islam. It must dominate Western civilization. Republicanism democratic jurisprudence.
Well, here's
And we just recognize that, that's all.
the protests in Germany that are happening against Muslims. What you're going to start seeing, you're going to start seeing more and more of this throughout Europe.
What's it look like?
Yeah, here.
Oh, you got it? Okay,
I got
watch this, folks.
Well, I don't have I just have a still image of it.
Pergima, that's the name, right? And Pergima means, let's check that
Hold on
out.
one second. I'm not there yet.
Pergima, I'll check that out.
You got one? Okay, there it is. That is
Pegida.
Yeah, I could find a name, but anyway, if you start to notice, you're going to start to notice a lot of this. You see how they're carrying the German flag? When you start,
they're xenophobic.
now also what you're going to start seeing too is through France, is you're going to see a lot of French nationalism, a lot of French flags, and when you start seeing the flags in these rallies, they're starting to rally around the country versus an ideology.
Oh, wow.
And
Go to Wikipedia, and they have a logo that is phenomenal. Put the logo up, and it tells the whole story.
how do you spell this?
Pegida. And their logo is the word
What?
Pegida. Pegida. Pegida.
I got it. Okay.
Their logo tells the whole story. And at 42 minutes after the hour, and welcome to our West Coast folks, 1 o'clock, 1:42.
I have the logo.
Yeah, there it is right there. And Tom Trento here, Enemies of the State. We're looking at the logo of Pegida, which is a movement in Germany. Somebody read what that says.
Well, it looks like patriotism, a Europe. I don't know what the German is on it. Tom.
I'll read it in English. And we have on the screen their logo. It's the 6 letters, Pegida. It's an acronym. Each letter stands for a word, and the words are Patriotic Europeans Against the Islamization of the West.
Oh, hey, the United West.
Yeah, man, look at that. Patriotic Europeans Against the Islamization of the West. Nothing to do about Germany. All related.
It's patriotic Europeans.
Yep.
Just like we're patriotic Americans.
Yep.
But what I'm saying is that
Against the Islamization of the West.
so they're taking Western society and Western culture, which usually means, the idea, the concept of the state.
Live and let live, too. You know?
Right. But they're going to start, because you really made a really salient point in your talk earlier when you start to say you start to see a lot of nationalism, French nationalism pop up, because what that's going to do, that's going to rally a lot of people to rise up against this ideology. And French don't like to rally around the flag. So when you start seeing French people rally around the flag, and German people really don't like rallying around the flag since World War II, they really haven't done that. When you start to see them rally around their
Something
country.
about that Nazi thing.
Yeah, well, it's still, when they start to rally around that nationalism, they're going to start to coalesce. And then we're going to have to start to see against Islam, because Islam is in direct contradiction to every Western European culture and society and state.
And here's what's happened sociologically. Very, very important point right now, folks, at 44 minutes after 4 o'clock. We're doing an analysis. We watch all the shows, and we're pretty up on the news and all that. We do the absolute best analysis of this stuff, because not only do we give our opinions, but there is no censorship on us.
Right.
I mean, we buy the time, we're commercial free, we say what we want to say, we say what needs to be heard, and now people are starting to view all of our work over the years as somewhat prophetic. To an extent it is, not in the sense of knowing the future, but foretelling what we know is going to happen from the obvious indicators before us. Here's what's going to happen in France. When all the Muslims came over to the European countries, they are tribal in their nature, because most of them are Arabian countries, which are tribal. So when they relocated to the open-armed French or Italians or Germans, and even here in America, there isn't a desire for assimilation. There isn't a desire to become like the nation in which you enter, simply because it's foreign in terms of cultural tribalism. But then theological mandate, you know their leaders, the imams and the ayatollahs, have told them, you do not become a Christian. You do not become a Jew. You do not become a secularist. You maintain your Islamic identity no matter what. You separate yourself from the country in which you go, the host country. And in fact, you must dominate that. So where did they congregate? They've congregated in these ghettos in France that are called what? These ghettos.
No-go zones.
The no-go zones.
No,
They're tall. We've driven by them. They're tall apartment complexes with graffiti all over, going, a square mile, and you can see festering.
And they're not forced to go in there. This is where they choose to go.
They choose to go in there. They've isolated themselves. They live in there,
Now-
and then they go out to become supreme in the areas.
Not only that, not only are they let into the country without any type of screening for terrorism, for ideology, for radicalism, or anything like that, they are actually giving a monthly stipend and
giving
subsidy
money, yep.
from the government based upon how many children they have.
Great point. And now dig this. You're a skinny smoking French croissant crunching cheese eating surrender monkey French person. Okay? We love you French and you surrender too
Right.
much. But you like your croissants, you like your cigarettes.
Cheese
you like
eating
your
surrender
cheese.
monkeys. Okay, go ahead.
Cheese eating surrender monkeys with skinny cigarettes. And it's funny. You go there and you sit in a cafe and the guy's dressed with an ascot and a skinny cigarette, smoking a cigarette, talking to these two women, and they're just, they're Googling the guy. Yeah, give me a break. Give the guy a gun to go fight in a war someplace.
What do you mean give them a gun? They don't even give their cops guns.
They give their cops guns. What are you talking about, Trento?
I wonder why things are so bad in these no-go zones.
So you're one of those guys, right? All of a sudden, they're shooting up your neighborhood, and you go, well, what is happening here? And then you realize that you have these folks in the ghetto zone that you drive by in your Peugeot R42 with air conditioning. You drive by, and you now realize that they have left the ghetto, and they're coming into your neighborhood. And you go, what am I supposed to do? This is the existential cultural crisis facing France right now. How will they respond? If Geert Wilders became the Prime Minister of France, he would say, stop all immigration from Arab countries. Moratorium, it's our country. We don't have to let people into our country. Stop it for 2 years. Let's catch our breath. Let's examine who's here. All the criminals, all the visa violators, all of that, they're out. They're getting deported. So far, what is so extreme about this? If you've got people that want to kill you,
That's right.
change you, and are there through the graciousness of your invitation. What was that on the screen at 49 minutes?
That is a surrender monkey.
The cheese-eating surrender monkey.
Is that a cheese-eating French surrender monkey?
Yes.
That is one of the writers at Charlie Hebdo. We can do it to you too, Charlie Hebdo. You want to mock us? We can do it back.
Yeah, it's an actual monkey with a beret on his head, with a white flag, eating cheese.
Eating cheese. So Geert Wilders stops. We're making believe Geert Wilders is, I can't talk to you right now, Dr. A. I can't talk to you right now. Geert Wilders says, put a moratorium on bringing in Arab Muslims from terrorist countries. That's really racist, isn't it?
Yes.
We don't want any more of these people coming in right now because we got a problem here. We got to sort it out. Can you give us a benefit of the doubt with our own country? Do you know how the EU and the United Nations would go nuts?
Berserk.
Oh my God!
Wait, listen, we can't even do it here. We through the United Nations, we are going to be taking so many Syrian jihadis. We have already signed up. What do you think is going to happen here? People go to Syria to get radicalized, but we'll just take 90,000 of them.
Yeah, exactly. We'll
I mean,
take them in here.
where do you think they're going?
And it's the spillover of the Judeo-Christian worldview, where Jews and Christians, recognizing persecution, both have gone through it for centuries, now in a position to welcome people, doctrinally want to reach out and help others. I mean, who established all the hospitals and all all the missions and all of that in the United States. The atheist organizations, the Muslim organizations, no. Jews and Christians established hospitals and synagogues and places of assistance throughout the West, throughout America. The clash right now, as the writer of Stratford concluded, was, he said, I don't know what's going to happen, but I know Europe has a problem. They're fed up with the ghettoization of Islamic control within their country, and now the violent nature of this that's growing through the lead of the Islamic State. They're not standing for it anymore. And Pegida, the patriotic movement of Europe to stop the Islamization of the West, is going to spread. Mark our words. It's going to spread to Italy. It's going to spread to England. It's going to spread to France. It's going to spread to Sweden, to Denmark, to the Netherlands. And it's going to be tough going for Muslim jihadis now.
Well, and here's the other point to make, too, is you look at what's happening in France and in Germany and in actually the UK also. It's like a little time capsule for us. This is what's coming our way if we continue our immigration policy the way it currently is, because if you're going to set an immigration policy, do you say everybody comes in, even the terrorists, and we give them all money, citizenship, and driver's license from the get-go? No, that's an insane immigration policy. If our immigration policy was actually enforced, all right, let me ask you, Tom, the simple question. What is a sane immigration part? If you had to make a logical immigration strategy, what would it be?
Right now, I would put a moratorium on all immigration into the United States for 2 years, and obviously you have the cutouts. You have the political asylum where people, and make it very, very difficult. Political asylum isn't, you're a wealthy Venezuelan, and you had to move out of your mansion into a condo on the coast because you don't like the way the government's going over there and you want to come to Miami.
Right.
That doesn't cut it, okay? And we have criteria to determine that. So I would put a moratorium on
all immigration.
On all immigration from every single country except for political asylum, where truly people have to be saved.
Yeah, but realize most of these Syrians that coming over, it is political asylum. So the standards for political asylum would have to be
stop
drastically.
Yes, I would, from war-torn Islamic countries, I would say, sorry, you can't come to the United States. Go to Canada, go to England, go someplace else. You can't come here. It's pretty simple. But our family's there. You can't come for 2 years. Go somewhere else for 2 years. You got to figure it out. And you can actually put even a more vetting process in where you can determine if it's a brother who's a real good guy, he's an Arab Christian, and his brother's over here.
The point is making it extremely difficult to come into the country. Extremely difficult.
No holes, extremely difficult, just for 2 years. And I'd focus a lot of energy on cleaning up the whole policy.
All right, so you secure the borders.
Well, yeah, you got to do that.
Secure the borders, obviously. Put a moratorium in for all immigration. I mean, isn't that right now, other than the moratorium on all immigration, isn't that our current?
That's inhumane.
Current immigration policy right now, just not being enforced. We're supposed to have a limitation on people who come in, which there's not.
On legal immigration is like 1 million a year.
Well, what we've done, we've blown past all our immigration.
Oh, but
policies.
we'll ruin our economy. Will fall apart because immigration is our greatest.
That's the biggest joke in the world. How about the bullcrap unemployment number, 5.6%? That is a complete farce of a number. It's really closer to triple or quadruple that with the underemployment. How about a real immigration policy might actually help real Americans start making some money again? We've had 6 years of the socialists crippling this economy. How about stop these insane economic policies and stop letting all these immigrants take all the jobs that Americans used to do? The next time I hear that Americans won't do these jobs,
I know, it's great.
That's crap. They've been doing them for 150 years.
You know what kind of jobs I did with 3 earned degrees?
Right.
But
You're a garbage man.
I was a garbage man before I did all that. Well, I had one of them. But even afterwards, I remember I was a valet You know, for a certain set of circumstances, I had to get additional money. I was running, best shape I've been in my life in a long time. I was running, back and forth. I'm reading all this crazy material, but I'm running back and forth and getting dollars from most of the people, except the people that had on their license plates, "Vous savez, the people from Quebec.
No, the people like on. Bring up my graphic. You mean these people? We got to
reveal who the mystery guy. Yeah, those people.
The cheesy.
But they were from Canada. The Canadians in Florida. They would go get their Cadillac, their brand new Cadillac, and I deliver it perfectly, all of that, and say, "Here's your car." And the woman go, "Honey, give the boy, give the
quarter.
boy,
17 cents.
Give the boy a tip, a quarter." They would take a quarter out, and they'd put a quarter. I go, "Thank you very much," a quarter. And the typical tip was $5 probably.
Yeah.
But they would give you a quarter. So but I did the work because I had to do the work, and I didn't take a new career. I was in a position where I needed extra money, and I said, I got to do this. I got to pick myself up. I got to get in this situation, and I did the menial, difficult work. Every American will do that, and if they don't, then they don't eat. It's pretty
even
simple.
On the legal immigration side. All you computer IT people out there, you're wondering why your salary has not increased over the past 10 years? Well, it's called the H-1B visa program where they've pretty much opened a border from India and everywhere else to compete with your job at half the wages. That's the reason you're not getting any increase in salary, guys.
Yep. Mustafa Abdul comes in from Karachi. And your $150,000 high-tech job is now $46,000.
Yeah.
He takes that. He sends $40,000 back to his family. He lives in squalor with 20 other Pakis.
Yep.
And the profit line of Apple, the profit line of all these high-tech companies
go through the roof.
Increases.
Yeah,
and the lobbyists who put this together, Grover Norquist, line their friggin' pockets with that money.
And Grover Norquist is not a Democrat. He is a
hardcore Republican.
Yeah.
All right, what we're going to do now,
but I wanted to really finish off that point.
We got 1 minute left, according to my calculations.
This whole system of illegal immigration and all our immigration policy leads exactly to what is happening in France today. Exactly what is happening in Germany and exactly what's happening throughout the whole EU.
And we are going to spend a lot of time in our Israel security project over the next, that's not right, here it is, 664 days. There's 664 days until November 8th, 2016. We've launched the Israel security project. We'll tell you about it in the days ahead. And part of that is a move to identify true elected officials, in particular a president who is pro-American, pro-Israel, pro-West. That's what we're looking for. And we introduced at the beginning of the show the reason why the jihadis attacked France. If we can play just a little bit of that footage again. We're not going to tell the name. We're going to hold it over to tomorrow, which is our Israel update show. So it fits in perfectly on our Israel update show. If you're watching the United West, you know who the secret president is that is saying that the Jews are the cause of the Parisian attacks. But if you're only listening on the radio, you need to tune in tomorrow. Let's play a little bit of that once again. We got about a minute left.
Why do you think, I view this extremism as a function of sort of a text. This idea that it's a religious backing seems a pretext for just powerlessness. They're angry, nihilistic. It doesn't seem, if it didn't have a religious part to it, it would be something else. They would use some other pretext to be violent in this way. Is that?
Well, one of the origins for it is the Palestinian problem.
Unbelievable.
And this aggravates people who are affiliated anyway with the Arab people who live in the West Bank and Gaza. But
unbelievable. Again, a little more, roll a little more. They
I just wanna
do.
hear the-
No, that was it.
that's really the
It's
money
just
shot
so
there.
Absurd.
Here, we'll just play that one.
No,
part
he
again.
says they
Well,
do.
one of the origins for it is
No,
the
no, no,
Palestinian
go a little
problem.
further.
You know, and
They
this
do what's
aggravates
being done
people
to
who
them.
are affiliated anyway with the Arab people who live in the West Bank and Gaza. What they're doing now, what's being done to them.
We're doing
So I think
what's
that's
being
part
done
of
to
it. But
them.
I think
On that note, we're going to leave the mystery president who now blamed the Jews.
Oh,
for
it's
the-
Carter. Come on, everybody knows it's
No,
Carter.
we don't know that yet. Come back tomorrow. We will have Aria Gozi giving us an update. Jerusalem Jane was at the funeral of the 4 Jewish individuals who were killed in Paris. She was there today. She's bringing some video tomorrow to show you that. So join us back tomorrow, folks. Tom Trento signing off for Enemies of the State. Bye.